guys, it's Amerie and I'm here to do a very casual Friday reads. I'm putting on some lotion right now. I actually really like doing the filming with the natural light and just in the window, and it just kind of like feels really impromptu. I don't know. And then I like the way that the texture looks. Something about it looks really creamy and I like that. But they always say that you can't beat natural light, right? That's what they say, but sometimes the extra lighting I really like. I'm putting like a lot of lotion on. Okay. This is actually, where is it? I think I've told you about this before. This is actually one of the only hand creams I use. I use a Belief on my face, but I also use L'Occitane's hand cream, which it's like the only hand cream that I found so far that really works, the 20% shea butter. So I keep it in my drawer, I keep it by the sink, because my skin can get very dry. Anyhow, so let me stand back on my marker. I wanted to tell you what I was going to be reading this Friday. I am currently reading, oh, my lotion's gonna mess up this soft velvet cover. Okay, I'm gonna try to make the, that's the only thing. I'm like, listen, people need lotion and it messes up these little velvet touch covers. But this is The Beautiful by Renee Attier. It's basically vampires, a little ode to Twilight, I think, here. But these are a different kind of vampire. Scary, frightening vampires. Like someone gets their throat ripped out pretty quickly. And I don't know too much going in. I know it takes place in New Orleans flavor. A girl from France, she comes, she's like a dressmaker, but she has to go to a convent for some reason, but she's going to the convent with some friends. And they're going there in hopes of being set up and matched with a husband. And then, of course, there's like a serial killer on the loose, which we know is going to be the vampire. But I think the complications of their relationship is what we're kind of dealing with. So this is The Beautiful by Renee Attier, and I believe this comes out October, a week or two. I think maybe a week, but I'll let you know for sure, that little thingy. So I'm super excited. I just got it yesterday and I already started reading it. Jumped right into this. And what else do I have? I started reading The Warehouse. I can't remember who it's by, but it's just not for me. It's just not my bag. I thought it would be, but it isn't. And I bought it. And that's the thing about buying books. Like, I've been really trying not to buy too many books, right? Because I feel like when I buy books, especially if they're not nonfiction, like buying a nonfiction book, I tend to get the short end of the stick a lot less. Whenever I buy fiction, especially adult thrillers, which I don't even buy many of, but sometimes something will tempt me. Man, there are like literally too many books stacking up in the closet that are books that I just wish I didn't purchase. And I try to utilize the library, like I'm always telling you guys about all the time, overdrive for the library. But I just end up buying them because I can't help it. I mean, I would buy so many more, but I think I need to read the samples more. I get tempted, and when I'm in the bookstore, then I'm like, you should read the sample to this, and then I just don't end up doing it. I digress. So that's what I'm reading right now. I do hope to get to Ta-Nehisi Coates's, there we go, The Water Dancer, because I actually just picked this up the day that it came out, which I'm so excited about. This is his first novel. Usually he's normally writing nonfiction. Between the World and Me, which was fantastic. It's a letter to his son about growing up black, as a black boy in America, as a young man, and what he can expect, what he should know from father to son, which I think is really important. And I'm going to be revisiting that, of course, because I have a son as well. But this is, and then of course, I recently finished We Were 8 Years in Power, An American Tragedy. These are basically, in the 8 years he was writing for Atlantic, and it's one essay for each year. So he has a little introduction to that particular essay. Oh wait, it's catching a light in a very weird way. Okay, he has one introduction to each essay, and he explains. Sometimes he'll say, like, this isn't like the best that I think it didn't come out exactly the way I wanted. I would have done it better now, or these are the things I didn't really have in mind, or this really captured what I wanted to say at the time, and I would add on this. Fantastic, a must read. Actually, there was this Revolt talk. I'm not sure if you saw it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just actually caught a clip. But Killer Mike was there. He always has a lot of great things to say. T.I., Candace Owens, I believe is her last name, and a couple of other people. And I just wished he was on this panel. Like, I think a lot of times, even when there are really great panels and we just need more like intellectuals and people who really study the state of everything. I'm not saying that as entertainers we're not studying, we're not abreast, aware of of everything that's happening, because we are. However, when you're talking about, say, the breakdown of the Black family, or why is this crime rate what it is, or whatever. Like Ta-Nehisi Coates actually addressed some of the things that they were addressing, which was like fathers not being in the home and yada yada yada, which you've heard a million times. And he's like, when it comes to that, the statistics are very similar with white families. The difference is when you start going into the economic factors. He's like, but if you just look at the hard numbers, it's easy to just scapegoat, or not, that's not the right word, but it's easy to just blame the victim of systematic oppression and say, oh, it's because of this, and this, and this, when actually the numbers prove that isn't the case. And I just wish there was like a big, like how Batman has this signal? I wish there was a big TC signal, so when we need him, he is there to bring in the facts, and just, that's what's missing a lot of times. There's a lot of opinions floating around, but the facts are often missing in these conversations. And another great channel you guys may already be aware is For Harriet. I don't always agree with everything that Kimberly is saying. I would say most of the time I tend to agree with her, but she also gives a lot of insight regarding topics similar to these. But definitely read this if you have the chance. Even if you can't read a lot, this is just one you've got to squeeze in. You've got to squeeze this in. I heard this. Well, this is actually Oprah's book club pick for her first venture with Apple. And I heard this is amazing too, but this is just one of these things that you just need. If you need to understand what's going on in America, if you need to understand why we're where we are, just everything, just read this book. But I am excited to get to his novel. She said it made her cry. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm seriously like, we've talked about this many times before, but I'm going to get into it. So right after I read The Beautiful, which probably should hopefully take me a couple of days, I want to jump into this, The Water Dancer. There's like a little bit of, some people argue that you can't really use magical realism outside of the South. I don't know what this wine is. I think it's because I know that there's food I'm about to eat soon, so I'm like kind of getting excited about it. But that you can't take magical realism outside of South America, really, because it's very specific. So some people use, I believe, I forgot the word, fantasy, but for lack of a better word, magical realism. There is a little bit of magic, but it's a very real story that takes place in the South during the enslavement of Africans and African Americans. And I am super excited. I'm super excited. Yeah, super excited to read this. I've said that a million gazillion times. Another one I'm going to just mention, because these are just a couple books that I did pick up recently. I'm going to just zip them by you really fast because I'm not going to read them this Friday, but I think that it's worth mentioning, right? It's worth mentioning some of these books because it's been a while since I've been able to talk to you about them. Hollow Kingdom, really quick. Hollow Kingdom, this is a world in which, by Kira Jane Buxton. So basically, there's a crow. He's narrating the apocalypse. Human beings are turning into zombies, and there's a crow who's determined to help us out. And so it's just narrated, not by many animals, just by the crow. But it's really funny. I stopped about 50% of the way through. I'll continue, but I think the humor was really good, but at the same time, it was starting to feel a little one note, but I have to finish it because it was really good. And I want to see if maybe that my perception would change. And I already went halfway through and it was really good. Besides that one thing. The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna by Juliet Grimes. And this is about a woman who almost dies 7 or 8 times. And we follow her. It's multi-generational. So it's like a family saga that also includes these deaths. I don't want to say any more than that because I think it's better when you don't go into this with knowing too much. I started and I finished. I had to stop reading because some stuff came up and I just lost my momentum. I stopped on page 19. I definitely will be revisiting this though, for sure. I'll just start over again. Our Shah in the End of Time, just wanted to read a little cute middle grade, and I heard this is really good, so I wanted to dip into that. I don't read a lot of middle grade, but sometimes just like a nice cozy fantastical story can be, a lot of fun. It's a lot of wonder in middle grade, which is what I like. Stephen King's The Institute. It's about kids who are kidnapped and they're taken for their power. So they have powers and they're kidnapped, and then they're taken to a place where it's like all kids, but they're in rooms that look almost like their rooms, so it's a little spooky. After having a child myself, I feel like kids' stories hit me a lot harder, so I'm really interested in this, but I also know that Stephen King doesn't hold his punches, so I'm a little afraid of going into this as well. But I'm really excited because Stephen King is a phenomenal writer. And the 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. Actually, January is, she's a girl and she finds like a book that has like doors to other worlds. That's all I know. And also that she's biracial. And I think it's her ethnicity is a big question mark. But she goes to, I don't know if it's a relative or a rich old white man or something, that someone she either worked with, or it's like a distant relative, and there are lots of secrets in the house. But it's just, this was kind of a cover buy as well. But yeah, no regrets. So, this weekend, I finished this one, and I'm highly recommending it to you guys. Ta-Nehisi Coates' We Were 8 Years in Power, a must read. And I am reading this today, hopefully. I fell asleep reading it last night. I would love if I could just like get a huge chunk done of The Beautiful and by Renee Ahdieh, because I do enjoy books more when I don't have lots of starts and stops. You know, when life gets in the way, and I don't want to say gets in the way because life is life, right? And it's a blessing. You have to appreciate it. When life happens and you can't continue to read, sometimes it's hard to get that momentum back. But these are the two that I will be reading this weekend. The Beautiful and The Water Dancer. Let me know what you guys are reading in the comments below. I would love to hear. Don't forget to like the video. If you liked it, please share the video. And again, let me know what you're reading. And don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys later. Bye.